Today we're talking about Will Ferrell from Saturday Night Live.
I will douse you in gasoline and light you on fire like that Buddhist monk in Vietnam if you don't get off that damn shit!
It is the Cowbell skit.
Fellas, it was sounding great, but I could have used a little more cowbell.
I mean, I come home every day and...
Hey, I know it's not your first choice, but keep in mind, you're a f***ing dog.
We were introduced to a character that probably none of us knew anything about, Robert Goulet. Goulet!
To the honeys, getting money, playing just like dummies.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
But what if it were made of barbecue spare ribs? Would you eat it then?
What?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Kind. Let's Rewind, the Nostalgia Podcast no one asked for. Today we're talking about Will Ferrell from Saturday Night Live.
Uh-oh, Mighty Kong has woken from his slumber.
Guys, this one, for sure, Leaf at 1507, our apartment growing up, we wore this best of out over and over again. And
Absolutely.
it was one of those go-tos. Every time we had a party, it was one of those that was on. Of course, like, we're going to cover all the Will Ferrell movies after this, but we thought, dude, let's do like a little bit of his early life. We were going to do the SNL and those early movies till we dove into SNL, and we're like, Jesus Christ, this is full of gems.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you cover SNL and then his movie career, like even up to Step Brothers? Like, there's too much.
Too much, dude. Like, it would be a 5-hour episode.
As a man that's been confined to a wheelchair for nearly 3 decades now, I just want to say I'd like to know Will Ferrell's regime for rehabilitation, considering his back must have been completely snapped from carrying SNL for the entire years he was there. Because afterwards, and I looked at the cast afterwards. Dude. It might have been was this the end of SNL, guys?
This is what
when he left.
As much as we are fans and are of the Sandler, Farley, all of those, ratings were down. When Ferrell got there, he brought the ratings up, and then I think Tina Fey and Amy Poehler helped limp them along for a bit.
Yeah,
but this was the beginning of the end for them. And now I've had people at work. I had actually somebody at work today, and they're like, "Do you watch SNL?" And I was just like.
Did that bring you to the booze of the week?
Booze of the week! Get out of the street, you
and to be fair, I'm sure there's like some talented people on there, whatever. Like they're just I guess because we do this so much now where we're diving into these comedies, we're deep diving into the writing process, what these people's influence were. And so when you have an entire skit based around like a voice inflection, like it just almost like, yeah, I mean, that was great back in 1995 when Will Ferrell was doing it and did it way better, which is why I have Hutton Smith promenade today. No plug, no segue.
You're on the promenade. Dude.
Yeah, the promenade, whatever. It's, tomato, you stupid bitch.
Oh, I'm somewhere crying in the background.
Chadwick, man, what do you got?
Oh, you know.
Then polish it off with a tall, cool Budweiser.
It's already starting, dude.
I thought you were going to say it's a tall glass of OJ.
Not a tall frosted glass OJ. Leaf, what do you got, man?
Man, I'm going to do it fancy tonight, dude. This is for Will Ferrell, dude. My wife made me an old-fashioned, dude, and we smoked that bitch.
Oh,
nice.
Damn, dude.
What up with that?
Dude, that's awesome. You may need to post that thing. Actually, Butter, I think I forgot to respond to him. He's asking for an old-fashioned recipe, and I don't think we have one for him.
Man, BKLR, do we need to come out with our recipes?
Okay, Butter, you take a glass this size.
Okay.
You put that much ice in it.
I like it.
You put that much bourbon in it.
Okay.
And then you drink it.
And that is a Chadwick Old Fashioned.
No, it's the only one you need.
So I've tried like different ways. I've tried the pre-made old fashioned cocktail, which is pretty solid. couple of drops of bitters in there.
Yeah.
The best way, I think, is go old school. Get the sugar cubes and like muddle it in the bottom.
Yeah.
Muddle it in the bottom.
Crush them up.
And Chris, you know where I'm going for the bitters. Either an orange or a tangerine. Get a little bit of a peel off of it. Hold it over your glass and take a torch and just torch the outside of it a little bit. Just get it nice and slick and melty. And then
the MLT, it's nice and lean.
But the mutton is nice and lean.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. But yeah, man, that's the way to go.
There it is, man.
All natural.
Is that what you're having tonight, Shadwick?
Me? No, I'm having a tall, cold Budweiser.
Hey, Leaf, he's got a Budweiser. Hey.
One of us is Harry Caray, and one of us is Robert Goulet.
Yeah.
You decide who's who.
You decide who it is. Goulet. So
Goulet.
anyway.
Well, one of us is going to say the N word.
It's going to happen eventually.
He like to say the N word. So anyway, shout out to our rewinder of the month, Danny.
Damn.
So hopefully that's caught on, and he knows that's from Ninja Turtles at this point, man. Thank you so much. Hope you got your swag and enjoying it. And if you guys want to be a rewinder of the month, hit us up on social media, comment on YouTube, any of those things. We're starting to get just a backlog, man, of rewinders of the month, which is great, man. So keep the engagement up. Get a free shirt, some stickers, a couple of coasters, and who knows, maybe Shadwick will personally come and muddle some sugar for you.
Hey, speaking of shirts, since we have Will Ferrell tonight, I did wear my favorite Crystal Gale shirt.
That is awesome. Well done. Gale, yeah.
I want to do something else real quick. I want you guys to tell me if my dickhead son is right.
I'm glad there was a second part to that.
He said when he said if I put a hat on backwards, I look like Kevin James, and God damn it, I'm afraid he's probably right. So I'm gonna do this live right now.
All right, let's do a test.
He's gonna do his test to see if when he
audio
puts
listeners, he's taking off his headset, and he is literally Kevin James.
Yeah, it's there a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. You know,
it's not my look.
No, but hey, it's a good looking hat. They'll be available soon.
It was a good looking hat. I'm gonna turn it around like a white guy.
Yeah. Like the guy, look, I'm Ken Griffey Jr. till I die, man. So, dude, let's kick this one off, man, with Will Ferrell. Leaf, do you have a little bit of boring-ass facts, perhaps, when he was born and things of that nature?
I do, and you guys can toss in if and when you want to. Ladies and gentlemen, for those uninitiated, Will Ferrell began his career. He tried his hand... Will Ferrell tried his hand at stand-up comedy. He didn't have that much success, right? Really wasn't, from my research, wasn't really in his niche, wasn't his wheelhouse.
Nope.
But he did find a lot of success in improvisational humor, more to his liking, finding success with impressions like Hall of Fame baseball announcer Harry Caray,
which is such an absurd, just a weird take. I know WGN was everywhere, but that is an out of left field impression. But I did find out too.
That's where Andre Dawson was.
Yes, that's right. Shadwick, big Cubs guy back in the day. He was born July 16th, 1967, in Irvine, California. His dad was Lee Ferrell, who I didn't know this. The keyboardist and saxophone player for the Righteous Brothers.
What?
Yes. And I went and quadruple checked this from multiple sources to be like, are you fucking with me right now? I was like, no, there's no way. But yeah.
Because from my research, all it said is his dad was like a traveling performer, which could have been like swallowing flames or juggling for all I know.
Circus folk.
Yeah.
His brother was the Dog Boys.
Bearded yak lady.
Yeah. Hell of a cook, though. But yeah, man, so his dad was the freaking keyboard saxophone player from the Righteous Brothers. He was a kicker in high school in football. Tried to walk on at USC. I think that's where he went to college. No go there.
Was Dad, or are we back to Will now?
Will.
Yeah, Will Ferrell.
Will's kicker. He played basketball too, of course, because he's.
I would not have even thought of him
tall.
in football.
I wouldn't have either. And then he, when he went to college, he was going to go into sports. As in like a sports reporter, going into that field. And I think he had the oh shit moment where he was
realize how much they make,
or I think it was
how much they don't make.
I think he was doing some ad libs and some joke quips, and then realized like, oh, like this would be much more fun than what this is. And he didn't get on SNL, dude, till he was like 28 years old, which is fairly late for a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, Adam Sandler was young, I think, when he joined.
Yeah,
was he not?
I mean,
like,
dude, Eddie Murphy was like 19 or something. Like, you
yeah,
know,
bro.
They usually shoot like in the early 20s, but he was on, like Leaf, you were saying, in the Groundlings, which we've talked about in the past. Tons of people that have been on the Groundlings, and I think I feel like the Groundlings in Second City, like SNL is just, it's SNL-U, and then they just periodically visit and pick your talent.
Like that's what it became.
Like a stepping stone, right?
Right.
Well, so like that's the other thing too is like I think we need to do an episode on the Groundlings just to delve into.
I would like to
that
dig deep on
itself.
that, man. I don't know if anyone else gives a shit other than us, but I'd like to dive into it. I'm sure I can find an audiobook because I can't read.
Maybe we'll do it for Patreon only if you guys aren't that
not
interested.
Not his fault he can't read.
But this comedy troupe, I mean, like some of the greats that we've even talked about in the past, like came through like this comedy troupe.
Yeah, was Hartman from there too? And then
I believe so. Yeah,
Hartman and Paul.
I
Rubin?
mean, old Paul Rubens. Yeah, old Pee Wee Herman came, and multiple other comedians came from there. So of course, when SNL started to decline in popularity, no, not recently. I know that's what you're thinking. Relax. No, it actually happened before this in 1994 to 95. Like SNL just took a dive, and there was they needed cast members. You know, I think this was after the time of obviously Chris Farley and Adam Sandler.
Canned them, right? Like
they did.
They
got rid of them. Thinking they could. I'm sure they thought they could just replace them. Who knows what Lorne Michaels thought? I'm sure Shabbat could do an impersonation of what he believed he was doing. But like,
I think we should just stop getting good ratings for a while. We've really been monopolizing Saturday night for a while now.
Which is crazy because the Sandler and Farley era was like starting to become like the ratings were going down because. This is why us as a nation can't have nice things. Yeah, so they were going down. I mean, this is the same people that canned Norm and then brought him back a year later to host.
In a year and a half, from being not funny enough to be even allowed in the building, to being so funny that I'm now hosting the show.
Because he was such a big star. Same thing with Farley.
Well, it's because he got so goddamn funny.
Yeah.
Right, suddenly.
That's what it was. It was
either that or the show was terrible.
Oh, yeah, he knew. So a producer for SNL basically went back to the well and went to the Groundling show and for all intents and purposes picked up Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, and Sherry O'Terry. All three of them convinced them to audition, for SNL, and of course, Lorne Michaels immediately accepted them in, desperate. And I mean, we were laughing about it before, you know, that like Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry, all these stars then carried the show for the rest of the tenure. Ferrell joined in 1995, and he stayed until 2002. So he was there.
I believe that's that Phil Hartman 7-year thing, right? Like
yep, he stayed for 7 years.
That's what everybody, I think, didn't Carvey do 7 too? Like I feel like Phil Hartman set the bar there. Somebody did where it's like 7 years, go do your movies.
Yeah,
and then
except for Tim Meadows was like, nah, son, I'm here for life.
Tim Meadows looks over and he's like,
and you never once paid for drugs, not once.
But so
in the butt, yeah.
So what's not in his? What we're gonna do is basically go over his greatest hits here on when he was on SNL, and one of the ones that wasn't on here, man, was the one that got him the gig. Yeah. And the one that got him the gig was "Get Off the Damn Shed."
Hey, Brandon, Michael, want to do me and Mom a favor and get off that shed?
Get off the shed.
I was reading some interviews with Ferrell, and he found out at some point on his comedy venture that yelling and shit is funny. but when you yell loud enough to where you almost lose your voice, like it takes it up just another notch. And so he figured that out and then just started running with it. And
some of the
that's
funniest
what Get Off the Damn Shed is him yelling.
I will drive you out into the desert and leave you there for the entire month of August if you don't get off that shed.
And it just escalates as the skit goes.
Right. And I think that's one of the things, like, and we'll talk about it as we go forward too, but I think that's one of the comedy notes that he nailed was that, like, he knew how far to take exaggeration and hit it, like, perfectly. And I think that's why Get Off the Damn Shed was so funny, is because, like, he took it to the point of nearly hysterical over nothing. And
right.
I think maybe they left that one out because it kind of parallels the Mad Boss, or whatever.
I think so. It paralleled a lot of the stuff that he did, but
he used that tactic in a lot of skits.
But I don't know. It was the one that, like, got him the gig, and I think, like, when he had his first meeting, I think it was him. Yeah, I think it was Ferrell. Had the idea to bring a briefcase full of play money because he heard that Adam Sandler, like, humped a chair, and Lorne Michaels thought it was funny as shit, and that's basically what got him the job. So Ferrell was gonna leave the briefcase there and be like, I know what talks. You just let me know when I got the job or some shit like that. Like, you know,
it's just full
like
of
he
like
was for like Monopoly money. Like he was just like broad, but he was gonna like pour it on his desk or some shit. But then he like chickened out and like didn't do it. But it's funny hearing all these people stories about Lorne Michaels, because one of the things he does, I've bitched about in the past, is he makes you wait forever. Like he's like, you know, like he's Leaf. And you're early today. I'm fucking with you. But anyway, he makes you wait forever, like in these meetings. And when I say forever, I mean like 2 to like 5 hours sometimes. Vince McMahon would also do the same thing. Like these dudes like that are in power would just like make you wait just as a power play.
Let's be honest. Vince McMahon was probably pounding Vaj.
He was either in the weight room or working on his genetic jackhammer.
There's no dumbbells in here, only my balls.
He's a trap master in his balls, man. So let's kick this one off, man. So he's teamed up with multiple people in these that make an awesome team, and especially like, you know, we'll get to Sherry O'Terry and guest star and like all these people that he's created these skits around. I guess Chris Kattan. Yeah. But what the scuttlebutt was, after probably about a year, the writing team was like, yeah, get Will Ferrell in your skit, and your skit's getting on SNL. So then everybody's straight trying to write for Will. Like, I'm sure on top of that, he's writing his own skits and shit. But all the writers were like, Will, think you could get you to do this skit with us?
I will douse you in gasoline and light you on fire like that Buddhist monk in Vietnam if you don't get off that damn shit!
So, if you go back, there is obviously multiple Will Ferrell best ofs. Like, I don't know how many total are there. I know there's at least 3.
3 was kind of a mishmash of a lot of 1 and 2. There was 1 or 2. Like, so
okay.
It's kind of a throwaway. Yeah.
This is streaming on Peacock, correct? So
correct,
if you guys
man.
Wanna...
So season 28, the last episode on season 28, and the last episode on season 29. You can find this on Peacock. Peacock, sponsor our podcast?
Please, dude. And so that's where we're drawing a lot of these from. So if you guys are going to go back and watch the best of Will Ferrell 1 and 2, that's what we're drawing from. But the best of 1 starts with one of his characters. And I have a lot to say about this one, and like right out of the gate. It's sort of a drug awareness song medley. Will Ferrell and Anna Gasteyer are playing the Culps.
Check. Test.
Check.
Got a real hot mic up here, fellas.
Really hot mic.
Somebody check the woofers.
Ooh.
This middle-aged, almost Christian. This triggered my wife. She has been to she grew up Seventh-day Adventist. Like she grew up. There was so many like singing duos this, dude.
Yes. Yeah, dude, but this was, I mean, we saw stuff like this at a lot of these, like, we would go to, like, church retreats and stuff like that. It would be a couple, and they would be singing their little thing. There was this band, dude, me and Leaf saw, it was this Hispanic group called the Cantinas? Katinas? I can't remember. But what they did was they took regular songs, but then put, like, Christian lyrics to them.
Yeah.
So they were doing, like, Puff Daddy, but with, like, whatever's and it was looking back, like, I'm embarrassed for me now.
Yeah, it was really, and so that's kind of the theme of this. And so
Right.
for those who don't know, Will Ferrell sort of grew up in like he says it himself. He grew up in Mayberry. He didn't have one of these like really, despite the fact that his parents got divorced. That was probably the most traumatic thing that happened to him, like in his early youth. Like he grew up in like he would say Mayberry, this like sort of backwoods town. Nothing really happened. Everybody was bored. So there was just a lot to make fun of. In his opinion,
he grew up in an Indiana town.
The Indiana boys in the Indiana town.
Is that right?
I don't know.
So he would
He
constantly
had a good-looking mother, but she was never around.
It was his dad who was never around, but so it ended up like there was just so much to make fun of, and so that's where a lot of these characters, like I believe, they came from. Was he was pulling from like these groups that and so the Culps obviously do the exact same thing as these Christian singers and some of the other people from that time. And they're trying to sing modern classics to appeal to the youth because they're middle-aged. Like, he's balding, which is already funny. Like, he often wore a bald cap. And he does such a good job at acting like these really, like, self-righteous characters.
That off stare that he does, like, when he's playing, quote-unquote, playing the keys.
Yes. I was going to say, the reason he's so good at playing those people is because he's so good at playing those simple-minded,
he is.
like completely, like, dumbfounded people.
Ladies, leave your drugs at home. The club is full of ballers and your party's full grown.
And all you fellas leave your break with a friend, cause it's 11:30 and the joint is jumping.
Yeah.
But that's like part of the beauty, though, is he dives into these. Like, he is that dude in this skit.
He's 100% that guy, and of course Anna Gasteyer. There are sections where she almost outperforms him, and that's what I want to say is Will Ferrell is a character that is his comedic genius. I feel like is understated because of one simple thing. There are people that are so much larger than life, and I use like obviously Chris Farley as an example, right? Like he cannot do anything but be the center of, and it's not his fault. It's his energy. It's his whatever you want to call it.
Some people have it, right?
Some people have it, and he you can't turn it off. Like he is when Chris Farley is in a skit. It's everything about him. Will Ferrell can play the straight man. He can play like he balances so well, and you can see him tailor his performance to the energy, and he can back off. And Anna Gasteyer makes me cry laughing in this skit. The way that she's behaving and shrilly singing being crazy, and never once do I feel like she's fighting Will Ferrell for like the spotlight. It's like seamlessly equally hilarious.
My cheese gone cold, I'm wondering why.
Dear Slim, my name is Marty. I wrote this letter because I don't like to party.
And he just knows when to fill in the gaps perfectly. And if you watch him, you'll see that through a lot of these skits. And this is a perfect one because they're both just being ridiculous. Like this entire skit. And it's just a thing of beauty to watch them.
I want a new drug, one that won't make me sick.
Or get suspended.
The way they're changing some of the cuss words too. Like
Dear Slim. Like, they go through like this whole montage of songs in here, and like we won't go into all of them again. Like you can go back and watch this, and also we'd probably get clapped for that. But like,
oh yeah, we're gonna get smacked.
But these again, if you saw these in public, like growing up, this skit hits home. And again, this is back in 95, 96. Like we're in high school, coming out of high school. This is like we're prime real estate for these gags and these jokes.
Oh, it's perfect.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about it last night. The last time that I really watched SNL religiously was when I was in high school because if you didn't watch it, you didn't have anything to talk to all your friends at Sunday school about.
No, man.
Us like with Sunday school and even like Monday at school, like we were talking about, SNL usually, especially during the Sandler Farley era when we started to all develop our insomnia. We were staying up way later than we probably should have. But I credit SNL and wrestling for that. So thanks a lot, guys. But
Cinemax.
Yeah.
Shannon Tweed.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Nailed it, man. So
Scorned.
Let's go off to this next skit that is so fucking famous that this skit has its own documentary, like only on the skit itself.
There's so much information on this skit. I actually just avoided looking into it because I assumed one of you two would probably like fill in the gaps here.
I've seen the doc on it. Yeah,
it is the Cowbell skit.
Fellas, it was sounding great, but I could have used a little more cowbell.
Chris Parnell, Chris Kattan, Horatio Sands, Jimmy Fallon as the members of Blue Oyster Cult. Christopher Walken, of course, is Bruce Dickinson.
Yes.
Possibly the standout in this.
Yeah.
The underrated standout. And, of course, Will Ferrell as Gene Frinkle, the cowbell player in the Blue Oyster Cult skit.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes on, like, where they got these names and where, what all this stuff, like Bruce Dickinson, like, didn't produce the song or whatever, like that, I don't believe. And there's, like, you can get way into the weeds on this one, but what I cared about was this almost didn't happen. And so, like, Lauren has this weird thing, like, where they have dry runs, basically. They have 2 shows they do every time for Saturday. So they run through all the skits that they think they're going to put on there, and then if they don't, they have 2 different audiences. You're like the first audience. If it doesn't test well, a lot of times they'll cut it from the main show. And so, Christopher Walken didn't really go full bore into this, and it was a little flat.
Yeah.
And then,
which I could see that definitely.
Right.
Flat, so flat.
The worst thing I've ever heard.
Everything about this, and like again, it's one of the skits that you could get really sick of, especially back in the day. Like Gibbs, you talk about someone that hated this fucking skit.
I was just about to mention him, dude. I was like, friend of the show, Gibbs
is a Blue Oyster Cult fan, like legit has been for a very long time. And when this skit came out and he would be like listening to Blue Oyster Cult, he was so sick of everybody being like, more cowbell, man. And he'd be like, God damn it. Like, he'd just get mad.
In classic
Gibbs fashion. But just, it's the little things that this, like, Walken comes out immediately, like, steals the show out of the gate, or so you think. He's the Bruce Dickinson, and
You guys, I put my pants on just like the rest of you, one leg at a time. Except once my pants are on, I make gold records.
He makes gold records.
And like, there's these little lines that he delivers great, and
listen to me.
Yeah,
Bruce Dickinson.
And he just keeps going. It goes back and forth, and then this is one of those, I think, was why the longevity on this one is. You can watch this skit, like kind of like our favorite comedy movies. You can watch this skit over and over again, and you'll have a different favorite part. Like, one of the ones that hit me this last time is Horatio Sands.
I was going to say that.
Where he's like,
his face
speaks for all of us.
Like, it's a nothing throwaway line, like, but it's so fucking funny.
And right before that line, he's making this face because you could tell it's his turn to talk soon.
Yeah.
And he's waiting, and he's just like looking up at the camera with this or like into the sky with his spaced out look, acting out for no reason. And it's so funny, like to watch, like, just the different people in, because there's so many like funny comedians in it. So you're 100% right.
What I noticed last night was Will, like, wearing that super skin tight shirt.
Yep.
And I admire people that can do that. Like, he has an oddly shaped body anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But he just like leans into it for like comedic purposes.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I'm too vain. I have body dysmorphia or whatever,
Yeah. Same
I couldn't do it. But like watching him, the way that like he moves, like he just takes up that whole stage.
And when they did the trial run I was talking about that kind of was flat, he had a looser shirt and he asked for a smaller size, and they were like, it's already skin tight, and he's like, give me a smaller size. Yes. And so they went one size smaller, and that's why it lifted up on the belly.
And it's funny already because
so the whole premise, if you haven't seen that and you live under a rock, is him just playing cowbell to Don't Fear the Reaper, and it just, the takes get worse and worse where he's not playing it enough, and Christopher Walken is, the producer's like,
I'm telling you, fellas, you're going to want that cowbell on the track.
And then the band starts feuding. He does that shit where he's like leaning on Parnell, like the cowbell, like
in his face.
And he's just like, and by the way, Chris Parnell, like, let's not forget about him. This dude, I don't think I ever saw him break in anything.
I owe Chris Parnell an apology. I thought he was the most unfunny, untalented, like, like back in the day. I did not like him at all. And going back and through and watching this and his chemistry with Will Ferrell and in general, and then thinking back to the movies he's been in after that, which we won't go into in this particular podcast, I'm gonna like he's fantastic. Got it. And I messed up, man. Like because it was like it's like I said, it's like people have this gravitas. Your eyes are always on Will Ferrell, but like after you've watched this 1,000 times, like Chris said, you start to look at the other actors. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? Right. And what is he doing? What is Horatio Sands like doing? So you're like, you start to like look around and see that there's like all this talent happening at once, and you're just missing it when you're focused on like the big dick energy, right?
Parnell in a couple of the interviews I saw with him, I think he was jokingly said like the reason he was in so many Ferrell skits is because like I guess he was known not to break, and then they were like if we put like Parnell in there with him, at least like we know like. And then Jimmy Fallon's like, I cannot break, and they're like, oh, Jimmy, go play the drums.
That's back.
Lauren, he hated when people would break, right?
Yeah, but Jimmy Fallon's like one of his favorite people on the planet.
But
like, that was a no-no.
It just guts me though. Like,
it's contagious, man.
Yeah,
like, and they start laughing,
like,
and
we'll get to it. But the lovers, like that one.
Dude, same here.
Again, before we started, I told you guys. A lot of these I either didn't see or I completely forgot about, and the Lovers was one of them.
Somewhere in the distance, we heard the pounding of native drums.
And that shit is hilarious.
Dude, I know. And this is the one, like I said, we wore this best of DVD out, I think famously, which I wish I had thought about it beforehand and got Gibbs on for this one. But like, me and Gibbs, before like we were about to get like terrible weather, like a big hurricane like aftermath was coming through, we went and got supplies from Walmart, which was the Will Ferrell Volume 2 Best of DVD and like a case of beer, and that was our rations to get us through the hurricane when we were living together. We're like 22 years old or something. Like, but we watched this so much because Will Ferrell was so good. These Best of DVDs back in the day too, especially the Walmart like $5 to $10 bin, dude. We would wear those out, man.
That was gold. I vividly remember skipping past this skit multiple times after we've worn it out, because it was just like a lot of people from my research consider this to be one of the best SNL skits of all time.
Yeah, I've heard that most. I think it's the consensus is this is the best SNL skit of all time.
So don't hate on us because we watched it 1,000 times,
right?
And maybe we feel the same way if we watched it less, right? But like we watched all of his stuff so much to ad nauseum that it's like we've seen it, so many times and picked it apart. It's hard to find anything new, entertaining, and funny about it when there's so much gold that has gone on watched, like Shadwick mentioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just stuff that he forgot about. It wasn't because it was good. It just doesn't get as much play or as much, attention. That's just as funny, if not funnier.
Well, let's get to this next one because I do this every day. I never read the book, but I do it anyway.
This is a nice a nice showcase of Will Ferrell's vocabulary that introduced us. We'd have the people that introduced us to vocabulary were Kevin Smith and Will Ferrell, but just like this next skit is dissing your dog.
But after my third arrest and court-ordered anger management counseling, I learned to channel my rage into an effective, nonviolent puppy training tool. It's called dissing your dog.
When the whole premise is you don't want to beat your dog or whatever, so you're just going to.
No, it's when you've exhausted everything else.
Yeah,
like you've tried beating him mercilessly.
That's what he says. That's what he said he used to do, but now he uses dissing your dog.
Yeah, after his anger management courses at a court-ordered a court-ordered anger management appointment, like he's been forced to come up with a new. And so Will Ferrell stars basically is like this. He's selling it's an infomercial where he's selling dog training techniques. And what are the techniques, Shadwick, since you use them every day?
Honestly, this was another one that I had never seen, so I don't have this memorized or anything.
But the one where he calls the dog a steaming pile of excrement, that's what I mean. Like that, those words are funny as shit together, and I don't know why, but it's like Will Ferrell's cadence and verbiage in that.
I mean, I come home every day and give Gus shit for not cleaning up after himself. Like, why are the dishes in the sink? Like, I mean, what have you been doing all day? Why are you so tired?
Dude, my dog won't eat his food sometimes. I'm like, look, I know this is not what you. I know you wanted prime rib, but the Palms are not taking reservations, and also,
you're a fucking dog.
Yeah.
And then his deadpan look like he's so mad.
Gus talks back to me if I just give him like dry dog food, kibble or whatever. He just looks at me, and I just imagine his voice in that moment is like John Lovitz. He's like, "What? No toppings?" That's why. God love him. I went him to the vet last week, and he is actually 101 pounds.
Damn, dude. Good for him.
Congratulations, dude.
Looks good, man.
No tartar on his teeth.
Good for him.
That's great.
So, dissing your dog, pretty, like we said, pretty simple.
But it just shows like Will Ferrell can act like extremely malicious but it's real funny because obviously the dog can't understand, but it's just like the way that like he deadpan angrily. Yeah, exactly. I mean, people would probably argue
it's just dripping with sarcasm. And
it's just dripping with sarcasm and venom, and that's like what's funny because that you're gonna see that attitude carry like on through a lot of his skits. Like he plays like a mean character, but he pushes it so far that it's still funny. It never once do you ever feel threatened by Will Ferrell, and maybe that's partially because of how he looks, right?
Yeah.
But you know, he has this way of being really devilishly malicious and mean, but it always just makes you laugh because it's just pushed to an unreasonable length, and so that's one of the perfect like examples of him behaving that way.
And so the fourth one on this list that, I think that this happens to all of us. Where something catches on. This happened to me with Dave Chappelle's Rick James skit, where I was so tired of people that I just didn't like what kept saying Rick James, and me being like, no, that Chappelle show is me and my friends thing. That's not your thing.
and that's ours.
Yeah, and that's what we got. The next one is Spartan Cheerleaders, which is funny.
U-G-L-Y. You ain't got no alibi. You're ugly. You're ugly. Woo!
And it's an awesome premise. That's two cheerleaders that are not cheerleaders. They were basically cut from the squad, but they go anyway to a chess match, to a swim meet where there aren't real cheerleaders there. And they're doing these it's just goofy cheers.
Routines that they've made up themselves.
The Spartan Cheerleaders, the one that's on here is the chess one. And I don't want to get too much, again, this is a music-based one, which Will Ferrell had a lot of those. But dude, you talk to anybody's wife, girlfriend, this is when you mention Will Ferrell, a lot of people are going to be like Spartan Cheerleaders. Yeah. I think I was almost a Spartan cheerleader 15 times in my life because I kind of look like Will Ferrell with curly hair, so I narrowly escaped every time. But
curly-headed fuck.
Yeah, dude.
That sketch with the that he did with the little girl. It wasn't on Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
it looked exactly like he's dressed.
Looked like me.
Dressed just like
Where's
you.
the rent? Yeah. Man.
What did it say?
My dad's gay.
I knew it. Those blood tests don't lie.
So we'll kind of glaze over the Spartan Cheerleaders just because everybody knows it. Everybody knows the routines, and they do the perfect cheer.
You know what's funny to me on stuff like that, though? Like, they actually have to practice that choreography.
Dude, and they nailed it every time, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, it was just, I don't know, it's just an example of, because he got a pretty good voice. He can sing. He's got rhythm enough to pull off these dances. His physical comedy is on point.
Right.
I want to say, I guess probably now is a good time to say it, I think Will Ferrell had the greatest SNL run of anybody, period to end, as far as skits that were funny and are quoted and success of the show ratings wise. I
agree.
Ferrell had the best run.
I agree
period.
Because I think that he didn't have anybody. And I don't want to take anything away, obviously, from Sherry O'Terry, Anna Gasteyer, any of them, right? But however, I feel like he was forced into the carry position, I feel like, and where he had to do a lot of the hard lifting as the main character in a lot of these skits.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like there were a lot of other comedians in the past that could take some of that weight. Like he was the main.
He was QB1, right?
Spotlight.
Like he's your he's your Joe Montana, Steve Young. Like in you have a great supporting cast around him, but you're not going anywhere without that quarterback.
Exactly,
like,
and he didn't have anybody else to really rely on. There was no other star. In my personal opinion, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
Well,
sure
I mean, like who
TikTok.
went? Let's just be honest. Who went from these casts off the top of your head that went to become movie stars? And I don't mean supporting stars. I mean movie stars. And
actual.
Tina Fey.
Oh, that's true. But she, like I said, they were kind of at the tail end.
She
Tina
came
Fey,
in at the end.
Yeah, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were like at the I think towards the end of his tenure. But and I'm a huge fan of both of theirs. But I'm talking about this like intro cast when he came in, like what a lot of these skits are with. But so after the Spartan cheerleaders, we were introduced to a character that probably none of us knew anything about. A nice lounge singer by the name of Robert Goulet. Goulet.
Hello, I'm Robert Goulet. Da-da-dee, da-da-da-doo.
And he is off in a forest, and this is like one of those album sales commercials they used to have all the time. And dude, I remember bringing this up to our parents. And our moms were like, how do you know who Robert Goulet is? Because it was like it's not in our generation we should have known who Robert Goulet is. We're like, it's Will Ferrell skit. And it's him singing rap songs, but he can croon. So it's the Coconut Bangers Ball. It's a rap.
Little inside, I know.
What does he say? Like,
that's a little inside, I know.
What does he say? It's like these songs, but with a real singer or something like that?
Yeah, like...
Not by some dubious ruffians without the chops, but by a professionally trained voice man.
So we went and did the music injury a freaking service.
So for those of you who don't remember, there used to be a war before all the styles melded into absolutely the mush we have today. Mm-hmm. So there was actually a war. So you had obviously rock versus rap versus the old time people who are still alive. Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point in time, like the old crooners are a lot of them are still alive.
Right.
Like the old singers.
That's like your Sinatra guys.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra's still alive back in this time, right? Like in the 90s or early 90s at least. And still sort of doing things, and they're out and about. And so, this is a dig at, an old, washed-up performer who his time has already passed. He's clearly an alcoholic. Will Ferrell's portrayal of him is of that.
Yes.
And so, he's basically digging at, all these new songs, but to have a comeback, he's redone them with his talent.
Dude,
right?
What he's done is he's done the music industry a freaking service.
Yes,
and it's Coolio, Snoopy, Dre. They're all here.
The whole bunch.
And dude, and he starts doing songs, and the freaking elephant in the room is he drops the N-bomb 3 times here. And it's great because this is one of those uses of it. The crowd is dead silent when he's doing this skit. They have no idea what's going on. And he sings that Cisco, when he's doing the thong song.
That dress is so scandalous. And another couldn't handle it.
And dude... That's it. As soon as that happens, I remember when we got this, because we didn't see this live. We saw this on the Best Of DVD. When that happened, everyone in the room was doubled over in the floor and being like, what just happened? And then he does it again.
I love it when you call me Big Papa. To the honeys, getting money, playing just like dummies.
He just keeps going.
The important part to remember is he did not use a hard R.
He did. He did. Listen.
Did he?
These.
No.
Yeah. You can't expect.
None of this matters.
You can't expect.
Well, the subtitles didn't use the.
Yeah. No. But it's again. It's if they don't put that in there, this skit is dead on arrival.
It doesn't make any sense.
This is like a great example of like comedy. Either it's all okay or none of it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's them using that was so funny. And because look, we don't know who the fuck Robert Goulet is. I still don't really know who Robert Goulet is, and I've like looked it up. Right? Nothing against him. There's just generation before us, right?
Yeah.
And with him doing the Goulet voice, like doing all that, and then incorporating these songs we know, but it's just an old white crooner doing rap songs.
Yeah, trying to make a comeback, but he has no respect for the current music of the time.
Who let those dogs go? Who let those little mutts go? Goulet.
Papa.
Yeah. I love it.
All the homies getting money. Oh God, yeah. So I hope we can put all of that in here in our episode and not get shadow banned. I assure you, we're not saying it, but it's funny as shit in this skit. 100%, man. So
might be Patreon content for the full episode.
But like, man, look. So again, another example of Will Ferrell committing to something too, because a lot of these skits, I don't know if you guys notice, the crowd's dead. When a lot of these start, because he's setting up this awkwardness that he turns into comedy, and then he turns into like side-splitting comedy because he's just that talented and great with timing. We have a montage after this. We won't really go into those just because it's a quick hit on some things, and we'll come back to the other ones later.
Yeah.
But the other one of the other big ones, I'm going to keep saying this because they're all big.
Yeah.
Celebrity Jeopardy.
I'd like to ask our contestants once again, please refrain from using ethnic slurs.
And this is one that was, obviously we're big Norm fans, so him doing the Burt Reynolds.
Look at this.
Mr. Reynolds has apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, that's right. Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name.
It's funny. It's a hat. Yeah.
That's not my name.
Yeah, you have Daryl Hammond, who, by the way, love to do a full deep dive on him, man. Just a great impressionist. Like could do so many impressions. Bill Clinton, in this one he does Sean Connery.
He does Sean Connery, and for me, he actually steals the entire skit away from everybody else.
Yes, he does.
Only because of his Sean Connery laugh.
Yes,
like,
but like this is your example you're talking about earlier, Leaf. Ferrell plays it straight.
I've never even looked at another guy before.
And so he lets them be them.
Yes.
And steal the spotlight, where it's like some guys just can't do that. Like
yes.
He plays it straight, but it's also like getting increasingly irritated with everybody.
Yes. He's still funny.
Yeah,
it's like he's not the center of attention, and this is what gives this skit so many layers and makes it one of the better of all of the ones that you can watch from Will Ferrell. Is because obviously Norm Macdonald is playing Burt Reynolds. He's a fucking asshole. Yeah. Like Daryl Hammond is also an asshole, being mean to Will Ferrell, who's playing Alex Trebek. The only one who sucks is Jimmy Fallon because he always sucks, and I think that this watch through has shown me that my love for Will Ferrell has grown, and my hatred for Jimmy Fallon has grown in equal measure. Watching these skits yet again,
I feel like Jimmy Fallon. I would like Jimmy Fallon. I would think I would get along with Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah,
but like I'm also not putting him up against like Phil Hartman, Norm Macdonald.
I always felt like Jimmy was just like the biggest kiss ass for some reason. There's no evidence of that.
He seems like it.
I think he just tries to be as. He seems to me like it's like sophomoric fun, and there's nothing wrong with that because we're a lot of that too.
What's going on here?
What's garbage?
Well, what do you expect? They're Canadian.
But his is like goofy fun games on his talk show and on a lot of his skits.
I agree with you. I agree with you, and this is a positive thing I'll say about Jimmy Fallon. And this is something that was really difficult for me to admit, like getting older and growing up. All right, I absolutely hated Jay Leno. I absolutely cannot stand him. Right, but you know what? I'm wrong. Jay Leno was a needed comedic niche because a lot of people loved him. They couldn't live without him, and you know what?
Especially in men's bathrooms.
Sorry, my mistake.
My
mistake.
When Jay Leno got replaced by Jimmy Fallon, I realized Jimmy Fallon's place. There is a place for Jimmy Fallon that exists, that is needed. I don't like him. I don't think he's particularly interesting or funny, but he performs a comedic niche that doesn't hit anywhere near my funny bone.
Not our demo.
It's not our demo, man.
That's what it is. It's not that he's a kiss ass. It's he's a people pleaser. He doesn't want to offend anybody.
Yeah,
right.
He's
can't
Jay Leno, man.
To
but
me,
you can be that. He's a fucking multi-millionaire host of the Late Show right now. It worked for him.
And good on him, man. Like
because you know who booked the replacement for Jay Leno? Lorne Michaels.
Interesting.
So
it shows he
but
handed the torch.
I don't know. Like I said, Jimmy Fallon seems like an all right guy, but in this skit, he's playing French Stewart, who both of those people pissed me off for no real good reason.
My name's French.
Yeah, well, who gives a damn?
So it just was a bad combination. But like Shadwick said, Alex Trebek, played by Will Ferrell, increasingly gets mad because it's Celebrity Jeopardy. None of the celebrities get anything right, and they're just constantly fucking with him.
Which, if you guys don't remember when they would do Celebrity Jeopardy with Alex Trebek, the questions were way easier. By the way, if you wanted to feel like a genius, go back in the day and watch Celebrity Jeopardy. Like, you have to be a fucking retard to miss any of those questions, and they did. A lot of the celebrities still missed them. So the whole skit was a play on that, right?
Yeah,
like the actual Celebrity Jeopardy.
What condiment is made from mustard seed? Mustard seed.
I'll take ape tit.
So I love that shit. So they have all the categories like written up there, and then Sean Connery will undoubtedly like mispronounce it.
Right.
Like he's following the spelling, but he'll like separate the words or whatever.
Yeah. Therapist.
I'll take the rapist for 500.
Sure, I think we've used that clip 1,000 times in this show.
That's therapist, you idiot.
You idiot. But again, like, it's not even an Alex Trebek impression. Like, it's just Will Ferrell playing it straight. And even, at the end, like this last watch through, you have the, any number whatsoever. The last question will be the easiest question, like Leaf says, a parody on Celebrity Jeopardy. And Sean Connery has a V, and he's like, despite your best efforts, that's like a Roman numeral for 5.
So
your wager, suck it, Trebek. He's like, and then Norm, as Burt Reynolds, puts the hat on Will Ferrell, and he does this childlike, get the hat off me, stomp away thing.
Get that off me!
It makes me laugh every freaking time, man.
He just tries to play it like normal.
Because you need that, right? Like,
yes.
Here's an example to what you said earlier. An example of Farley. All huge Farley fans. Like, go check out Archives, big Farley episode.
Yes.
But go watch the Freshie Pepper skit. When Farley steals the scene with, why, thank you. That's the perfect amount of pepper. Like, he does that voice, and it's funny as shit to us. But it does kind of like, if you're supposed to be focused on Dana Carvey and Adam Sandler, it does kind of take away from it, and it's not needed. Now, I think it's funny as shit, but as somebody in that scene.
To Lee's point, like, he couldn't turn it off, but also, you can't turn anything off when you have that much cocaine in you.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Was it his fault?
I've been lifting weights all day and doing cocaine, so we'll get to that later on.
But good point, Chadwick. Like, but you can really see. I feel like throughout these skits, you can really see Will Ferrell's comedic acumen, like it working, and he's so good at ad-libbing, reading the room, reading the audience, and knowing when to pull back. He's
such
a genius,
skill, dude.
man.
Such a skill to be able to be like a, he did that documentary, which is just, baseball's around the corner, probably out by the time this goes, but to use the 5-tool or a utility player analogy, that's what he can be. Yeah. He can be your number one over-the-top guy. He can be your fade-to-the-back guy. He can be whatever you need him to be.
You gotta insult him. You gotta dog him. You gotta humiliate him. You gotta do whatever you got to do to get him into that ring, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Well, in this skit in particular, you have all these other people kind of over the top comedy wise, you have to have a straight man.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like you have to have an anchor, and he
knows that. Yeah, he knows
does
that.
great.
And he plays it, man. But this next skit does not have an anchor in it. It seems, as I was introduced to this actually inside the Actors Studio by Dave Chappelle. This was way after the skit aired. And Dave Chappelle, I think, did that when he came back, like after he declined the 3rd season Chappelle Show. And I want to say it was one of his first interviews. And I was very shocked at how accurate the James Lipton, Will Ferrell over the top was. And I couldn't not see it. Like, I was like, holy shit. So he's playing James Lipton.
An artist was born that would rival Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo.
Turned up to 10. And
I've got to give Alec Baldwin his flowers for this.
Dude.
I mentioned it last night. He's acting his ass off.
Yeah, dude. And he's, I don't know, like Baldwin, he did it with Canteen Boy. Like, Baldwin was money on SNL when he wanted to lean into these things. He was really freaking funny.
Yeah.
But just
shit with the glasses.
Well, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In my opinion, okay, this is one of the ones that like I feel bad because this one doesn't hit as hard if you're not our age. Because if you don't remember like who Charles Nelson Riley was, that performance, I agree with everything Chadwick said. You might not know how good Alec Baldwin's impression of
he did that a lot on these things, man. Like Alec Baldwin, when he's go back, whether you agree with anything that he does outside of the acting world, go back and watch some of his SNL shit, dude. It's when he hosted SNL, you're gonna get some bangers. Like back in the day.
He was
anything
Baldwin
pre
was,
like 2000. We'll have a cutoff at 2002.
I'm gonna agree with you, dude. I mean, before he shot like Will Ferrell, like he plays an overdone James Lipton.
He's Lipton up to 10.
And I have never been so grateful in my life as I am to Will Ferrell.
It's a perfect balance because I feel like sometimes in this skit it's almost cringy the way that Alec Baldwin's doing it.
Yeah.
But when it cuts back to Will Ferrell, it pulls you back again. Yeah,
well, I know he's doing a funny impression, but he's still a straight man in this.
Yeah,
because Baldwin's so over the top.
Right. It's just I don't know. This just Will Ferrell, like when it goes to inside the Actors Studio and he's just staring crazily off camera, like when it's just the first shot.
The scene
kills me.
This might be my favorite quote. We'll see as we're going through this, but I'm going to say this: when he basically says that like. He creates a word.
There is no word to describe its perfection, so I'm forced to make one up. And I'm going to do so right now. Scrumtrelescent.
And he was like, your performance is so scrumtrelescent, I can barely move. And then
he just
stares off, and there's like 5 seconds where there's nothing, and he's just frozen. Like, I'm laughing so hard, because it's so stupid. And again, he's not overplaying, he's not overacting it. He's just like adding in this like insane nonsense.
Do you think this, I guess SNL, was it SNL or maybe Norm that introduced us into the awkward silence, basically like splitting us in half with laughter because it made everyone else so awkward and we laughed at how awkward or
the awkward silence
when they're just like they know it's funny, but they don't know if they should laugh or not, like that kind of shit.
I thought it was refreshing to see Democrats serve something other than subpoenas for a change. I thought that was nice,
And they hold it in.
Well, it's with Norm a lot of times. I feel like he knew that his jokes were like you had to think about them,
right?
So I think he would just like sit back and let it simmer for a second.
Yeah. No,
I also believe too that. I believe that Norm was the comedian's comedian, as many people have stated before, and because of that, I believe I'm not going to say he would purposely bomb, but I believe he would let a joke that bombed or didn't do well set because he knew that everyone else around him was laughing that the joke was bombing, and he was just letting that awkward silence hang in the air, and that becomes funny to comedians or people that are in stand up, and I feel like that's what he did, and there's a lot of comedians that are like that, and I feel Will Ferrell could do the same thing too.
Oh, for sure.
It's like let a joke linger almost a little too long until it becomes funny just to a very small group of people.
But when it
almost
becomes funny to them, then the laughter is a little contagious. And then, like, you know, we've seen with our Norm Macdonald clip of the week, you see that all the time where it's like he would tell a joke that bombed or quote unquote bombed. We're laughing at the punchline. Yeah. And then we're often yelling at the crowd.
Yeah.
For not
yelling
laughing
at
or
it.
whatever. But like,
yeah, sometimes it would make me laugh that no one was laughing. And I think that's funny too. I think that one of the funniest comedians ever to me is like Andy Kaufman. I have a weird sense of humor, if you guys haven't figured it out. Like I like people when they feel awkward.
Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
When things are confusing. I like when people don't know what's going on and like you're the only person in the joke. Andy Kaufman was a genius that he would do things
makes
that
you
people
feel inside.
Yeah, I love that stuff, man.
You ever you're like driving down the road and like you see somebody like working out in the yard or something, and like something happens, they trip and fall, or like they have a wheelbarrow and it like falls over and all this shit falls out or whatever, and it's like the worst thing that happened to that person that day, and I'm fucking rolling.
Yes, you know their whole day is fucked after that.
I know,
Yeah,
it's like I can put myself in their shoes and like how furious I would be.
I'd be so
I saw some shit. We were out of town one time. Somebody was walking out of a coffee shop with like 2 or 3 coffees, and they tripped like jackass style. And I was done with the day. I was just like I was dead.
Like Chris, when you and I went jogging, Leaf, I don't think you went jogging with us.
I may have missed
but there
that
was this kid was like he was on his front porch, and his yard was just like his front yard was just a steep hill. Right, and it's like it's fall or winter, I guess, because the entire yard is like full of leaves, and like we're just jogging past. The kid's like on his front porch, and he has a dog, like a German Shepherd, on a leash, and the dog like comes after us, and it jerks that kid down, and drags him all the way down the hill. And I'm just like, should you be in school?
The best part was like none of us tried to help him. We just kind of chuckled and it just kept jogging.
I could watch kids fall off bikes all day. I don't give a shit about your kids.
You know, which
hey,
actually,
I mean, if you know anything about me, if I'm jogging, I'm in no shape to help anybody else.
Well, I mean, and that behavior leads us appropriately over to the next skit, which is the Devil and Garth Brooks.
Dude, another one that I don't think that I ever saw, and
Chris and I did, and so
fucking
did Gibbs.
Great, man!
I can tell you
Will
right
Ferrell,
now.
This was the highlight for me last night.
Really,
like seeing this.
Really?
One. Yeah, because he was like,
because you're like, is that Chris Gaines?
Yeah. Who's this Garth Brooks guy? He looks a lot like Chris Gaines.
And a serial killer.
Sans the soul patch.
Yeah. Dude, this one was one, again, Gibbs used to use all the time when we were on our bands playing together. And Gibbs, he would be playing and somebody would miss a note or something. He Gibbs would just stop and be like, the guitar is out of tune.
Hold on a second. I think it's out of tune.
I want to know, anybody in the comment section, dude, did y'all use this? You had to have, man.
Yeah, anybody that played music, did you ever use the devil Will Ferrell, the guitar's out of tune? So the premise of this joke is Garth Brooks' character sells his soul for a hit song. And Will Ferrell plays the devil, which the makeup is great in this.
Yeah.
And
really
he's
good.
got this left-handed guitar for some reason, which kind of drives me crazy because I don't know if he's left-handed or not. But anyway, he's actually not playing. There's someone off camera playing. But he's strumming these songs, and they're all terrible.
They're shit, dude.
I feel terrible.
I'm gonna be honest. Fred Slacks may have been a hit. You know,
Gibbs would yell that too. He'd be like, "Fred Slacks is a hit."
but it makes sense that his dad. What'd you say? He played.
He's keyboard and saxophone player and shit.
Because Will's got some musical talent there.
No, he does, dude. He can sing, man. I'm telling you, like,
he's got some talent,
he's playing this up, and he just keeps blaming it on the guitar. It's like some musician jokes. He's like, "Is it humid in here? This guitar is out of tune again." Like, he just keeps blaming the guitar being out of tune.
Well, it's like Chris, you and I both played tennis in high school. It's like you hit a bad shot and you always look at your racket
every time in hopes that there's a broken string or something.
Yeah, fix the strings.
Yeah. It obviously was the racket. That's why I hit it off the side of the racket.
Shake your head.
Yeah, but so again, this one, it's pretty easy, pretty simple premise, but it's just he cannot write a hit song, so the devil does
sucks.
The devil does not get his soul, which that has to be a Ferrell idea, like for him to come up with this. Sell your soul to the devil, and then the devil can't write a hit. Like,
yeah, he just sucks. Like, and he tries, and then it gets to the point where he's just like, he keeps trying to come up with various different songs, and almost each one is almost worse than the last.
He has one that's like a Smash Mouth parody.
No, it's not. It's hey you. Oh, what the frick? Cut me a break. This is hard.
Yeah, he has Garth Brooks clean some of the shit off of his couch so the devil could like sit down and like kind of jam session with him, try to figure it out. Like automatically.
Don't think about it. Get out on your head. Just
Oh God, good shit, man.
It's so good.
But so the next one is one that we've already referenced a couple of times, and
near and dear to my heart.
And it's such it's just
he got it in.
An Andre Dawson left field joke here that it's Harry Caray.
Hi everybody, Harry Caray here.
Which, if you grew up in our area at least, like you had the Braves on cable, and because of TBS, and you had the Cubs because of WGN, and so. You got to know who Harry Caray was, but I didn't think anybody else did.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Caray at Wrigley Field on this noteworthy night indeed.
So, for me, because Wrigley Field didn't have lights, they always had day games. So during the summer, I'd be home by myself, so I'd watch Cubs games. Because when my dad got home, he wasn't really a sports fan. He wanted to watch fucking Gunsmoke or Andy Griffith or whatever.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I never got to watch Braves games. But I watched Cubs games all the time. And I absolutely loved Harry Caray.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I mean, I think they got lights in their first this is dumb trivia probably for Patreon. They got their first night game was in like 88 or 89. Like, and think about that. Like, that franchise has been around since, like, 06, like, 1906 or something crazy. Like I think they won before the last World Series they won was 1908. So, like, they'd been a franchise even before, like, well before 1906.
They had a lot of 115 games.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, they didn't have lights, so they would play day games, so you'd be at home. But anyway, Harry Caray was famous for not only being, like, beloved Cubs announcer, but he was a boozer, and he would be going to bars before games, after games, and so that's really what Will Ferrell just leaned into, was like
latched onto that
crazy Harry Caray, more or less just permanently drunk.
Heck, I'd have seconds, and then polish it off with a tall, cool Budweiser.
And
crazy.
This is actually one of his audition skits too.
Yeah, it was. Like, it's one of the things he used at Groundlings, too.
I remember one that I cannot find. Maybe you guys know where it is. It's like he's yelling at his wife. He's like, "Your tears mean nothing to me."
Oh, no.
But I cannot find it anywhere.
I remember this one. This is the Jeff Goldblum one, right? Like,
yeah. Jeff Goldblum plays like Harry Caray, for some reason, has an astrophysics, like, space television show on this skit, which obviously he knows nothing about, and he just reverts back to him being Harry Caray,
and he's just doing it's basically like if he has like Parkinson's and
I was like, that's what I was gonna say. So I didn't know anything about like Harry Caray. Like, my dad did, because he was this big sports guy, and I was just like, who is this dude? My dad was like trying to explain it to me. He's like, he's an announcer for like
Cubs,
baseball and the Cubs.
Yeah.
And my dad was hee-hawing, man. He thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever seen.
It
in his entire
could
life.
be. It might be.
Yeah.
It is a home run.
It's just he was below. He has a statue outside of Wrigley Field. I believe I got a picture like when we went to Chicago not too long ago. But he does this impression. You have these great lines on here. If the moon was made of cheese, would you eat it? Like,
What if it was made out of spare ribs?
Is he shaking like that because he's drunk, or he has Parkinson's?
I don't think he had
Did he?
Parkinson's.
Before
I don't
he
know.
passed
I think
away?
that was just like
He's
an
just
old
old.
person.
He has a 5-year plan.
What is it? Don't die?
Yeah. But it's just funny. It's this funny back and forth shit it's still funny to this day, and even Will Ferrell will still break this one out. I mean, even I think they had the ghost of Harry Caray on some SNL skit because Harry Caray had already passed.
After he died, he started doing he would sometimes break the impression back, and he was dead.
Jesus.
So, what's his name? Jeff Goldblum. Like, he's supposed to be like an actual
astrophysicist.
Top of his field or whatever. And,
Yeah, man.
and Harry Caray's like,
If you had a choice between being the top scientist in your field or getting mad cow disease, what would it be?
it's like, well, I guess I would be the top of my profession.
Oh, good. I was worried you'd choose mad cow.
Like it's just this leaning into it. The best part too is like Goldblum doesn't break a lot, and Goldblum is breaking in this. Like he's having a hard time keeping this shit together.
It's those glasses,
he's doing this.
man.
He's doing this thing too, where he keeps like looking around, like, is this for real?
Yeah.
And it almost like it comes off real to me, like he's like looking at the camera guys, like, is this what we're supposed to be doing?
It's because Will Ferrell's having these long pauses between his lines.
That got me big time.
Hey!
It's the pause, and it's a long pause, and the shit goes down. Hey, he just goes on. I would, and I polish it off with a cool Budweiser. Like, that's just funny shit, man. So the one, Chadwick, you said hit you up was our next one, and it's the Lavas.
We frequent the Welshly Arms.
Yes.
We find it a perfect, quick lover's getaway.
And this one is, by the way, I'm a huge Rachel Dratch fan too. She is so fucking funny, man. And she just leans into, like, I love, like, in some of these other skits, like, she just leans into, like, she looks weird. So she's just gonna lean into it. And in this one, it's Will Ferrell and her are a couple who have this funny pronunciation of everything. And they're lovers.
They are professors. This is what makes it funny to me. Like, they are extremely this is back in the 90s liberal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had professors that were extremely, not only were they like liberal, like well-educated professors, because they were Professor Roger and Virginia Clarvin was their title, I guess.
Open relationships for lovers.
They were
full of learned doctors.
Yeah, they were. You could tell they were like hippies from the real era, right? Like, and they were still sort of holdovers from the old. And I had fucking professors like this in college.
I did too. And
like,
I knew people like this that were just like, a lot of them.
Free love.
Yeah, they got down on some crazy shit.
And so the premise is they're in the hot tub.
Hot tub.
And Jimmy Fallon gets in there. He's a character named Dave. And
Dave.
Yeah, and then Barbara Hernandez sits down, which is played by Drew Barrymore. Who, by the way, Drew,
she looked pretty damn good in this one.
Yeah, right? She's still looking good in this one. I was like, hell yeah! But so they know her. She's apparently like a top archer in her region or something
also
like that.
Also a professor, too.
And a professor. And I just love the pronunciation of everything they were talking about, like Barbara Hernandez.
And she's freshly single, I believe, in this skit.
Mitchell was the most skillful and creative lover.
Oh, yes.
However, his love for me was exceeded by his love for sweet wine and dog racing.
Right. And so, Fallon's trying to get out of the hot tub because the shit's weird. beard and the entire time, and they keep talking about the different places they've made love and
their sexual
their
exploits.
bellies full of goat meat and spiced meats, and
I bet this couple goes to Bar Watson.
Yeah.
Previously known as the Palms.
Yeah. For you locals.
Here in Chattanooga.
This is the only time that this is the only time I actually excuse Jimmy Fallon for laughing. This is one of the only skits because it gets like, okay, first of all, Chris is right. Rachel Dratch is like, she's going all in and being disgusting. And at one point in time, they share like a meat shank together, and they're
in the hot tub.
Her and Will Ferrell competing because they're eating at the same time. Their tongues are wrapped around it. It's like this disgusting moment, and it cuts back to Fallon.
I'm getting hard.
It cuts back to Jimmy Fallon, and he's laughing, and Will Ferrell is clearly like breaking script. He's like, Dave, and he doesn't. It like. It's clear.
He won't give him a break.
He won't give him a break.
Like he's trying to.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell realizes that Jimmy Fallon can't catch his breath from laughing, and he's like,
David.
And Jimmy Fallon can't talk.
He can't talk, man.
And even Drew Barrymore is laughing. Like, it's just chaos.
And Rachel and Will, they start breaking too.
Yeah, they do.
But
everybody does.
Will, he's like turning away from the camera.
Right.
But yeah, that shit got me last night.
This one's great.
You were right to pick one of these. This one, Shadwick, because honestly, like when you know when Will Ferrell himself is breaking like that bad, it's funny.
And we're not doing. I mean, we'll put a lot of these clips in here, but the verbiage they use, the pronunciations they use, the stories they have on this, like methinks the gods themselves, like all this weird shit they're saying is so funny because you've met people like that, right? That's like the cornerstone of Will Ferrell's comedy is like, so many people like who he's playing, even if they aren't celebrities. You're like, damn, man.
It's like the couple at Logan's that kept buying me drinks at the bar.
Swingers.
Chadwick's like, it was last Tuesday. He's like, I just came here so I could throw peanuts on the floor.
Did you say penis?
Yeah. The next skit I'd like to glaze over if you guys don't object to.
Yeah.
Night at the Roxbury, another one, super popular, became a movie. Don't care for it. It's like kind of a you know what it is? It's remember when in The Office when Michael Scott and Andy were super into this and they started reenacting Night at the Roxbury like in a meeting or something. It's those type of people that like Night at the Roxbury, and so that's where this one went on. Where I was like, nah.
I will give a slight background on this one. This is actually one that Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan developed in back in the day of the Groundlings.
Okay.
And so obviously the joke was you had these two basically cocaine addicted party guys.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
That are just freaking losers. I'm not gonna lie. All three of us know people like that. That like maybe you still do, even in their like late 40s, still trying to like go out there and club dudes, man. And like that's the joke. The joke in the premise in and of itself is really, really funny. There's just not like a lot of meat on the bone. I bet this.
I don't know how it got a fucking movie.
I'm telling you right now. I bet it hit.
What was the place that you guys played downtown, Chris?
Raw.
Yeah, it had the upstairs. It was like it was just like an uncomfortable. If you felt like they were like Russian mobsters up there, like forcing girls into stuff, you know.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. That's like what it always seemed like to me. The skit just.
That's what it was. It was about like two loser guys who all they do is just search for parties and places to go and party, and nobody likes them. Nobody wants them there. They think they're better than they are. They got the gold chain.
Right.
They generally have like a nice car trying to lure women in, and they're just like douchebags. And it is funny. And I bet this, if you saw an improv of this, I bet it was so funny.
I bet they could go way more over the top than they did in this.
Way over, exactly.
One thing I really did like about this was that Jim Carrey looked like Jim Carrey.
It was. This was the actual Jim Carrey, so that was weird.
That was the twist. Like Jim Carrey in this version was a guest star in it, and that did give it a little extra
because it was the real Jim Carrey.
It was me.
So, it was the real one.
Again, we'll skip over a little bit of the montage. Although I do want to hit on the dog show a little bit, just because of the Molly Shannon back and forth. And it's all the skit was that we remember as the dun 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 dun, dun dog show. But she was like, what did she say? She was like,
sometimes I think that our love is dead because you like men, Mr. David Larry.
Maybe I do, and maybe I do.
And that's like the only snippet we get from this, but that made me laugh pretty fucking hard. Again, shout out Molly Shannon. She is absolutely fucking fantastic. This one is one of my favorites, is the Terrence Maddox model.
Because he couldn't get his hepatitis medicine without giving blood.
This is so disgusting, man. Like,
please describe this one. It will go in.
So basically, Will Ferrell plays a hepatitis-infected homeless man who he's just trying to do anything he can to get money. So he's hired by an art class or as a nude model, and Lucy Lawless plays the teacher. Which, by the way, man. I just want to say that out loud. Just by the way, y'all remember her, obviously, from Xena Warrior Princess fame.
And we loved her acting. In fact, Matt and I used to freeze frame a lot of her acting from that movie on the VCR and play with ourselves.
Back in the day. And the skit is gross. It's Will Ferrell takes off his robe, and it's just about his body and nasty body jokes the whole time. It's just one-liners.
Supposed to sculpt or draw or whatever a nude model.
Sculpt him, I think.
And then all of a sudden, he goes through a couple of lines, and then it's just, oh my God. And he's like, oh, looks like the mighty Kong has awoken from his slumber. So in this one, it's just Will Ferrell being a disgusting model, and he has several one-liners, and we'll clip a lot of those in here, and they're funny as shit. My favorite one being,
uh-oh, mighty Kong has woken from his slumber.
And his curved penis.
Yeah, judging by this, I guess we'll be grading on a curve. Like every time he says something, they're like, oh, they're just disgusting shit, man.
I got two poses to choose from: the thinker or the stinker.
And so, not a lot to this other than Lucy Lawless being super hot, and also the models that someone actually had to do afterwards, where they like panned and someone had to actually draw like naked Will Ferrell, sculpt him. Like,
yeah, what the hell was that, dude? And then he's like blowing a kiss. He's like, wink.
He also he almost looks like a caveman too.
Yeah,
like,
with a beard and
caveman lawyer.
Yeah, 100%, man. So this, speaking of hot, this next one has Sarah Michelle Gellar in it, and it's
very
the
young
family.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
We love her acting.
Yeah, and actually, dude, she straight up, like Leaf said earlier, she straight killed this.
Yeah.
And so this is a family dinner, which we've all been parts of. And especially during those puberty years, did these get, I don't want to be here and I'd rather be in front of the TV and whatever. And this encapsulated all of that.
Frankly, and I don't think I'm alone here, I'm tired of listening to this Lawrence Welk shit.
Shout out our American Beauty episode.
Do you guys remember, does anybody else in the comment section, please, were you part of a family that wanted the family dinners, where you had to turn everything off, where you had to, this is my family.
No,
like,
we were for a while. And then finally, I think it stopped. Just work schedules and school schedules and sports.
Yeah,
and shit.
I think a lot of it ended sort of organically, but I remember my family tried to force that upon us, and I had other friends who were like,
dining table all the time, man. I remember that dining table down in your house, man.
Bro, dude, that thing was full of food and pinto beans and cornbread and other Native American treats. And let me tell you, dude, we expected to sit there. The TV was off.
Yep.
There's no music. We sat there, and that's the funniest, the unspoken, like, funny part about the skit. It's the clinking of the glasses.
Dude, and
the
they're
nut.
all purposely doing it, too. If you watch them, I went back and watched them. Also, I'm about to ruin SNL for everybody. So I have to see it, so you guys have to see it. I can't stand when I can see them reading the cue cards. And I see it so much now, and I can't not see it. And I see it from everyone.
Their
and
eyes
you'll see their eyes just go off like for a second and then read the cue cards. So when next time you're watching any SNL, old clips or new clips, look for that and you're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Everybody's like, you son of a bitch, Humphreys.
But no, Leaf, you're talking about, did anybody else have this kind of dinner? Not at my house, man. We had the trays that were like, would slide underneath
the TV trays,
yeah, like slide underneath the couch or whatever. So you just sit there and just shovel food in your mouth while you're watching Andy Griffith.
Yeah, man. I actually think that like maybe we were sort of the last generation where I think families tried to, mostly moms, I feel like tried to force. You know, their children and their husbands to have like those moments like together before everybody sort of just succumb to.
And now they're like, "Hey, iPad, will you raise my kid?"
Yeah, exactly. They're like, "Hold this, you little bitch.
Yeah.
YouTube will teach you how to
So
live."
this
Man,
one
did you guys ever get the you ask a question to your parents and they're like, I don't know, look it up.
Oh my god!
Like
yes, dude.
Like pre-internet, like
dude.
Everybody had encyclopedias.
Yeah, my dad would point to the Encyclopedia Britannica that he spent probably $500 on or something.
I was like, Dad, it only goes to L. I'm asking you about SEX.
Yeah, mine only went to D for donut.
Mine went to L for loser.
Yeah. So this one, there's a couple of key lines in this. Leaf, I think, what was the one that you laughed at with that Sarah Michelle Gellar says to her mom?
Yeah, like her mom is like trying to connect with her daughter and ask her a question. And Sarah Michelle Gellar just snaps back.
I guess Paul is really excited about the sleepover tomorrow night. Oh, shut up, you drunken witch.
and the other one that got me this last time I watched it, like where it like legit doubled me over, and I don't know why, it just punched me out of nowhere. It was when her mom says something. She's
I wish you were dead.
Yeah, that's like the very next line.
Was this also the one where like it starts off where Will Ferrell's like he's trying to talk about his day and I think they're like they're asking questions like they're trying to engage and he's like keep interrupting me.
No, he's like, can I finish a damn story?
Yeah.
Will you ever let me finish a damn story?
I just assumed that Jeff
I would love to
Peabody-
finish one damn story.
Your stories are lame, Dad.
You don't talk to me like that.
and this was, of course, where like the line that everybody used, the "I drive a Dodge Stratus."
Yeah.
I think that's what soured this one a little bit for me because that was another line used by people that I normally wouldn't hang out with, and they'd be like, I don't know. I guess it was just me being like, no, this is me and my friend's humor, and then somebody that would be like a frat boy or something would be like, yeah, dude, I drive a Dodge Stratus. I'm like, it's not yours.
It's
that's not gonna make me like you.
Yeah, that's not yours, sir.
Isn't it strange though? Like we have to mention this because we kind of like danced around it too, like a lot on a lot of the podcasts. Isn't it interesting how we like us three, and I'm sure a lot of the people that watch this podcast, you're sort of in on it with us too. Like how like the normies, like everybody else will attach themselves to these moments in comedy that everyone will repeat. Like, you know, more cowbell, Like,
Right.
I drive a Dodge Stratus. I'm Rick James, bitch.
Right.
Like, all of these really, like, and everyone will sort of, like, repeat those ad nauseum. And, you know, you just kind of roll your eyes and tolerate it in a lot of, you know, public scenarios. And you're like, dude, that's not even the funniest thing.
That's
Why is it, though, that they attach themselves to those specific moments? Like, those stand out. Is it because they're repeated?
It's an echo chamber.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
it's a layup too. Like it's a comedy layup. Like the funniest part of the Rick James skit is not "I'm Rick James, bitch." It's the entire premise that Rick James is doing all of this shit. Like,
right?
You know, fuck your couch.
What do the 5 fingers say to the face?
Slap. Yeah. That's where we got whip his ass, whip his ass, whip his ass. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean, though? Like, it's
you're right.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug,
and I think that makes. I think that is, you know, we all, whether we want to admit it or not, we all have indicators and prejudice, like, because we're old and we've met a lot of people. So when we meet somebody and they act a certain way, you profile them in your brain. And I don't mean like color their skin or anything. I mean like how they act, right? Like, so
their comedic acumen or what they think is
if
funny.
they say something, you know, and you drop a quote and then they immediately, like a deep cut, and they're like, "Oh shit, was that from Waiting?" You're like, "Oh, okay." Like, you know, we are now on the same page. Like, that's where a lot of our listeners come in too with us, I think, is that, but it's the other ones that go the other way, where it's like they saw it one time or their friend saw it and told them about it, is what it's like to me, where I'm like,
I
don't like you, Tad.
There was a guy I used to work with when I got divorced. He's like, "Why, after 15 years, did you divorce your wife?" And I was like, "All right, we can be friends."
So you'll be judged if you ever meet us in real life by your ability for the deep dive. So do your homework.
Do your homework, man. So this one ends again with the Dodge Stratus. Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, or the daughter, runs away. They split her food. And they just continue on with their meal. But again, it's the silence between the lines that set that skit up, and it's wonderfully done.
It is.
Last one in this volume 1 is
what year was this?
It would have been 95 at least, 95 to 2002.
I mean, was this around the time of American Beauty? Because this really does parallel that scene.
When was American Beauty? When did that get released? Was it 99, 98?
Yeah, I think so.
But so the next skit is the voice and modulation guy. We won't spend a lot of time on this. This one is just a one-shot.
I suffer from voice immodulation, Tina. I'm unable to control the pitch or volume of my voice.
I know some people like that. I have to shut my office door sometimes.
Yeah.
At work. I think we just use this one to actually shame other people. Like, I think that's why it's so funny.
People,
anyone who's loud, like on
like
more
us.
than one occasion, like us. But if it's not us and you hear somebody talking loud, Chris will be like, "I can't control the volume of my voice," and we're like loud. So we just use this skit to
we just use it
roast anyone who's
to bar
loud.
people that can't hear me. So we'll start with this next volume 2, which starts off with the Axis of Evil, with his George Bush impression, which this is very topical and dated, so I don't want to get a lot into it. But this George Bush impression I loved because it's goofy George Bush, but it's not mean.
Evil Knievel's going in the Axis of Evil. But that's a no-brainer. But Dr. Evil? No, he makes me laugh, so he's out.
Anything that he doesn't like, he adds to the Axis of Evil.
At least times have changed.
No shit, man. So the one after this is one with, I've got to go back and watch the Sean William Scott hosted episode, because I bet there's some other good stuff, because we're a big fan of his.
Yeah.
The Will Ferrell USA thong one, which I don't know where you come up with this idea, but goddamn, is this funny as shit. And this is back to what you're talking about, Shadwick, with the body, just lean into it and have fun with it. And they, like, if you know any skit whatsoever on SNL, you knew where this was headed, with a speech at the end about how much he loved America and justifying the use of the thong and whatever.
So for this skit, for those of you who don't know, Will Ferrell plays Dale McGrew, who he's at a business meeting and everyone is dressed professionally, but evidently, unbeknownst to us, the audience, he was allowed to wear something patriotic, but instead Will Ferrell comes in a American flag thong and what I can only describe as a halter top or a very small tank top that has the USA over the top.
So I've got to ask, is he just packing a prize hog in there? Because why was the front of that thong so big? Like it was.
I would imagine
diaper.
I imagine that was probably stuffed for censors. Like I don't know if we talked about this
I'll tell you what
But in the SNL book, they talked like even to this day there are censors at SNL like because it's live. So I would imagine they probably made them make sure you can't see any penis in that thing whatsoever.
I also think it was to cover his bush.
Yeah, I
think it was more than that.
Because he does that lean back, spread the legs thing.
Here's the situation. Here's the situation we find ourselves in.
Doesn't he say a line, something about trimming a bush or something like that?
Yeah, like it's funny. It's funny as shit just because like it's the outrage of the audience throughout this entire thing. Which again, this is different from a lot of other skits he does. Like there's. He's not a one-trick pony by any means in this, man. He does it all. And speaking of doing it all, in the next skit, I got to shout out homeboy Gibbs one more time for this because every time around Christmas, I send him a GIF that it's the most wonderful time of the year with the Mark Jensen family Christmas. And this had to be Will Ferrell seeing these spinning stages for the first time or whoever wrote this. And they see these stages that it became a big thing for a while, right? Like where the camera would follow you and the stage would spin slowly or whatever. But the premise of the skit is it spins too fast. And Will Ferrell's playing Mark Jensen on it. And he is singing It's Most Wonderful Time of the Year. And he's like, slow it down. It's going too fast. And then they ran this gag where they have a hose through their sleeve and they would just hold their hand up.
The most wonderful.
All over himself.
Why is puke so funny?
It's not me doing it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, dude. Like,
it's so funny.
Like, was it Problem Child? I think.
Yeah, that's the amusement park one. That's Problem Child 2, I think.
I'm gonna puke.
Sandlot.
Yep.
We talked about Steve-O when he's doing those
wasabi snooters. Yeah, dude. I don't know what it is. It was so freaking. This one is so funny, and again, it's one of those like I'll just send this GIF randomly to like if it's around Christmas time, Gibbs is getting a GIF of like Mark Jensen puking going around in a circle. Yeah, like I don't know.
And it's a harken back too. So for those of you like these are also gone too. Speaking of family dinners and traditions that are all dead now in America. This is back when we were kids, and I know y'all remember these. Like the big holiday like variety special shows were just everywhere. Star Wars had one that was like
Pee-wee's Playhouse had a Christmas special. Everyone had Christmas specials. Like it seemed like every year a network was trying to limp to the barn with a new Christmas special, and this one was like it was the Mark Jensen Christmas special or the family Christmas, and it's it was them doing a trailer for it, I guess, like or it's them cutting to the family thing where some of them would be like you'd sing songs, you'd have variety
skits,
shows,
performances of all different types.
It's gone now, but the puke is still funny, so go watch it.
It is, but I'll tell you this one thing about the skit. It reminds me that the gift that keeps on giving is the BKL or Patreon, especially when you subscribe for free, my friends.
Yeah, dude, go to our Patreon right now, subscribe for free.
Don't wait for Christmas.
Yeah, don't wait for Christmas.
It gives now.
It gives now. And I mean, this is the question I keep getting asked over and over again as we get more and more viewers on our Patreon is, why do you do it, baby Billy?
Well, because I'm selfless.
And
why did I see that fucking coming? No, I started to sit.
It's because we're selfless. That's why. And we almost got a spit take out a leaf in this Patreon ad.
Listen, it's going to happen. When we're done paying our scientists, it's a wash.
It's a wash.
All
That's
of
what
the
it
lab
is.
coats. We don't make nothing.
So go check it out, dude. It's free to join.
Just like my tax returns, I make zero.
Yeah, it's free free to join. The top tier on there if you want bonus episodes, video game content, wrestling content, all this other stuff. Literally $4.99, and it helps us out a ton. So we appreciate everybody that's already subscribed. Come join the party. We're going to have some live stuff eventually later on this year. So we'll have some live streams. We're kicking around a whole bunch of ideas. You want to see something on there, man? Let us know. What do you want to see on Patreon?
And if we end up in Spotify jail yet again, I mean, you can be guaranteed you're going to get all of our video content, and all of our podcast episodes are up on there for free.
And for those that listen on phones and on your way to work or whatever, you can use Patreon basically like a Spotify app. So it has a feed where you can hit play and it'll play to your car, it'll whatever. You don't have to have, like I know some people have complained about YouTube. If you're watching a video on YouTube in your car and your screen goes to screensaver, it'll cut YouTube off. It doesn't do that with Patreon. So again, it's a nice fail-safe to have. I don't want to steer people away. If you're comfortable in the app you're listening to, man, listen away. This is more or less a fail-safe. But if you want bonus contact, Shaddy's doodles, Leaf's video game expertise, my wrestling stuff, all the stuff to make a pussy dry.
Pussy, pussy, pussy. Listen, we tread the line a little bit. You know what I mean? We sometimes they don't like us. You know what I mean? Like,
so it's all good. Shadow, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah. Coming up, we're going to have another writers retreat, and I believe we are going to try to get some video footage of some of that.
We are.
And that will definitely go on Spotify, or not Spotify, Jesus. That will definitely go on Patreon.
Yes. So we have a writers retreat where we basically plan out the show for the entire year, so we're going to go do that. Film that, I believe. We may even have a couple of movie watch-alongs or something on there that we'll do at the retreat, or just some behind-the-scene footage. It's going to be fun, man. So anyway, go to Patreon, guys, and thank you, as always, to everybody that's listening to this podcast, no matter where you're listening to it.
Much love.
So this next skit...
Thank Christ we're not giving away for free anymore. We've got bills.
Yeah.
And a lot of stupid shit to spend money on.
Look, it's because we're selfless. This next skit is stupid, and I want to hate this so much. And it's called the I Lost Your Baby Doctor, basically, is like what the skit is.
I don't understand this one.
And it has nothing, and Molly Shannon breaks, and then I fucking double over. And I don't know why. And it's because you get to the premise that this couple's had a baby. They're coming back to get their baby because they had to keep the baby. And the doctor lost their baby.
We misplaced your baby.
My first thought is, where was Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any subject that's off limits.
Wow. Another dated skit on here for all of us, which also is a fun one to see, especially with today's political climate, is the Janet Reno dance party, which I still laugh at this skit just the way that Will Ferrell plays Janet Reno and how pretty much accurate it was.
The thing that makes me laugh is like
the deep voice.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was. Thank you, Shadow. He uses a purposely deep voice, and he's supposed to be a woman.
Hi, I'm Janet Reno. Welcome to Janet Reno's dance party, coming to you live from my basement.
Shout out to Janet Reno because she came on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, she did.
Later on, and gave a shout out to him. Like, it was all in good fun.
Yeah, and
they had sort of like a Janet Reno off, and daggum, did they look like a lot alike?
Look a lot alike. Was kind of funny.
It was.
But
even
this one
funnier.
is like you have. This obviously was pre 9/11. Rudy Giuliani on here. That was. That he was the, New York mayor, right?
Yeah. Mayor. Was this pre hair paint?
This was pre hair paint.
Yeah, it was.
But he comes on there and to an applause. It's just funny to see different people like this on here now, like knowing the show's stance on whatever they have now. And but anyway.
The one thing about this skit that did make me wistful is back when things weren't so polarized, man.
I agree. Yeah.
You can't do this nowadays. You had Mayor Judy Rudy
Rudy
Squid Pro Row.
You had Mater Judy. Fuck, man. Son of a bitch.
I had taters on my hamburger earlier.
Shit, bro.
You had Mayor Rudy
Giuliani. And
he said all that.
Fuck, bro. So
down to fuck, man.
And so you had people on the opposite political spectrums,
right?
And they're on Saturday Night Live. They're laughing at each other. They're making fun of each other.
Let's be fair. Anybody in politics is on the spectrum at this point.
They are,
Especially
dude.
now,
They
yeah.
all are, man. Especially nowadays, dude. And so, like, but everyone was allowed to laugh and joke, and like Rudy Giuliani came on to SNL. That was close enough. Fuck you. And like he let Will Ferrell like beat him up, and like he was right, like, and so it was all fun and games, right?
The one great line from this is, "I didn't know you'd fight dirty." Like, and he's like,
Then how comes my conscience is so clean?
It's like,
and I'm like, did Will Ferrell set this entire fucking skit up so he could get that one line in? Like,
no, it was so clean, dude. It was so funny, and I missed that, man. I that really made me wistful about this one skit. And I'm glad we brought it in because I was like, damn, remember we could like have fun with politics?
When SNL we could laugh at both sides and just realize that they're all fucking dumb.
Yeah, man.
The next one after this is frat guy. This was another Gibbs one. Gibbs one. Just sometimes he'd be sitting around and he'd just be like, "Cologne,
Give it up, Colin. Ow! Cologne.
That backwards hat, he really looks like that drummer, doesn't he?
He does, old Chad
Well,
Smith.
It turns out though, like I know, like we're not gonna talk about the movies, but like, he was in Old School. Like it turns out, like he did do some real life streaking, I believe, in college and some other nefarious activities. So Will Ferrell was involved in some college life. He was in a frat.
Snoop a
and so no doubt he was drawing from that when he played the frat guy. So
the one line I grabbed from this one is he's like, "Call on up high, dude, you gay?"
Frank the Tank was in full effect in this, for
100%.
sure.
And then we get another shot of Shadwick's, and this one is my favorite of the lovers with Christopher Walken.
That's just because you're such a fan of Shin Shi.
He is.
It is.
Chris loves this line.
You've used this at fucking nauseum throughout
And no
my
one knows
entire
what you're
life.
talking about. No one. And that always made me laugh. Every time he broke out this line, I would cry laughing because no one understood what the hell you were talking about, man.
She wanted to try Shin Shi.
What's Shin Shi? What was great is when they set me up for that, and I'd be like, "That's when you make love to someone's ear crevasse." But this one is walking at another walking best on here. Like, holy shit, man. When he comes in here and it's Will Ferrell, Rachel Dratch again. They're doing the lovers, and when they start talking about the story about where they were all on a vacation or something together, and Walken keeps panning at him, and he's like, "And I was there too." Like, and they had just killed a goat, so their mouths glistening, their bellies full of goat meat.
And longing.
Yeah, they reveal that they had no menage a trois.
Yeah,
with Christopher Walken in front of his new girlfriend or whatever.
Yes.
And then Walken starts talking about how like his girlfriend was kind of shy, and then he just like lays out there the intimate details of
dude, and he talks about her doing shin shi, and you find out it's basically ear fucking, and it's absurd. It's to make love where the lover has never trespassed before. Like, it's the pronunciation, and Walken leaned into this shit, man. Like, just nailed it, dude.
And we missed it the last time. Before we move on from the skit, we got to talk about the end. Every time Will Ferrell did the skit, it would always end the same way. I think it was an underrated part because him and obviously it was always the same woman. What's her name?
Rachel Dratch.
Rachel Dratch would always start to try to make love, and Will Ferrell had some sort of back issue, and his character would completely change, and it was always funny.
Here I come.
Ow, my back.
What?
My back.
Is it your back?
Is it your back? Yes, it's my back. Get the hell off.
And they would always try to cut before that line got in, too. They were hitting the applause and everything. I feel like Lorne Michaels was trying to squash that part from happening, but Will Ferrell just shoehorning that bitch in.
The camera was already pulling back, dude. You could see the audience when he was doing it. It's like, you're right, dude. I believe it.
So this other one, we start to get to some violent ones, and this is where violence was funny as shit to me and Leaf, on-screen violence. And this first one, Pierce Brosnan is interviewing for a job.
Which he's almost unrecognizable for some reason.
Yeah, well, I guess they dumbed him down a little bit with glasses and shit. I don't know. Yeah, that wig. But he sits down with Will Ferrell, and he's interviewing for this job. You don't know what it is, but you find out later. And he's interviewed for a job, and Will snaps at one, it's a stages joke, right? So he snaps a little bit at somebody.
Yeah.
Then he goes back to the interview, and then he snaps a little more over the line, and then he goes back, and it just keeps escalating.
Yeah.
And, Pierce Brosnan's like, I don't know if I really want to work here now. And then freaking Chris Parnell comes upstairs, and he's got a net and a trident on it. He says that he's been working out and doing cocaine all day, and he's ready to fight him. And I love Will Ferrell's like, I love this. I'm going to kill you.
And this is what I was talking about that's kind of parallel with the Get Off the Shed.
Yeah.
Because it just like you said, it's just like stages. He gets more and more violent, in his speech, and then this one actually does turn violent.
Dude, and he knocks Parnell over, and I don't know where the blood is coming from, but it is an overkill of blood. He's stabbing the floor, but he's pretending to stab Parnell with this plastic trident, by the way, that you'd probably get at Spirit Halloween. And
look at Leaf.
He keeps going. And he keeps going for 30 seconds.
Leaf.
David.
David.
That's what I'm telling you.
He does. He keeps stabbing him. And the blood is shooting all over Pierce Brosnan, where he has to take his glasses off and shit. And Will Ferrell is covered. You can actually see Parnell's shirt just start. It's dripping from Will Ferrell's face on Parnell's shirt.
Chris Parnell has some sort of I don't know what it is device. It is. It's like Will Ferrell is like.
I saw a tear go down your face from laughing.
David.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking die.
He's gonna die.
As Will Ferrell's stabbing him, I don't know if Chris Parnell is squeezing it or whatever, but it's even after he pulls away, he stops. He stabs him. God, I swear it's 60 seconds, but it feels like it's 5 minutes.
It just keeps going. Oh, to where the crowd stops laughing. And then they start laughing again because it just goes on so long.
It's going on for so long because Will Ferrell keeps killing him, stabbing him forever and ever. And my favorite part is Pierce Brosnan is waiting for his next line, and he sort of delivers it, and Will Ferrell just ignores it and keeps stabbing him. He doesn't care about the timing or anything. He just keeps going.
Dude,
and his mouth up his ass. This kid don't care.
Dude, the best part is like, you find out when he sits down and Pierce Brosnan says he doesn't want to work there, and he's like, "Look, man, we're the fourth most popular airline magazine. Like, if you don't want to work here, he's gonna give him a job for $22,900 a year." Yeah. So this one back to backs with another super violent one, the one that made me laugh super fucking hard.
Yeah, man, this
on
is
this
good too.
On this
where
rewatch.
were the censors on this one?
Holy shit!
Oh my god, dude!
It's called It's called Wake Up and Smile.
Yeah, do they still do this? Like, do they still allow these ultra like realistic? Like,
I have no idea.
I'll just say it: the severed head.
Yeah,
with all like the veins and shit hanging out.
I don't think so.
I doubt it, because I mean that would require it to be funny. So Will Ferrell is playing Oliver. Actually, this is Steve Carell's wife, right? Like, is it Nancy Carell?
Nancy Walls, I think, is her name then, but
yeah,
at the time. But
so
Carell,
she's playing Diane. And by the way, shout out to her in this. Like, her despair on her face through this entire thing, and like just
so funny, man.
Gosh, she kills this. I forgot she was on SNL. Like, she's obviously done a ton of stuff after this. And our homeboy from In Living Color, David Alan Grier as the weatherman, dude.
One of our favorites, dude.
And this kind of reminds me of that Family Guy episode where it was like the apocalypse or whatever, and it's got the news anchors on there.
Yeah, 100%, man. So they got the teleprompter. They're talking about everything. It's just a normal morning show, and the teleprompter goes down, and it's
and he just like keeps repeating the same line
because it's like going. And the best part is it's one of those, again, it just escalates in stages and escalates in stages. And so they can't think of anything to say. Dude, David Alan Grier's acting on this, though, where he's just like,
fear. I must control the fear. Please, someone tell me what to say. I'm dying.
And then it just keeps cutting to that music, which I hope that we just put throughout this episode.
I drive a red car.
When David Alan Grier comes in and he's like, I smell weakness on you. I challenge you.
And he challenges him, and they fight, and they go behind the chairs and table, and then Will Ferrell comes up with the severed head of David Alan Grier.
Well, it's the same thing as like the Angry Boss. Like, it's all like, you can't see. It's all your vision's restricted from what's actually happening. But then he like comes up and Will Ferrell's got blood all over his face again.
Yeah, he's like
eating he's like eating the veins.
The weatherman is dead.
And the crowd's reaction to that, like they're screeching and then laughing or whatever. And then the prompter comes back, and that's how the skit ends. But that whole sequence where David Alan Grier smells weakness and attacks him or whatever, it's just so, again, there's like over the top, and then there's like way over the top, and this is past way over the top, and it's funny.
Like, how does like Nancy Walls like all of a sudden like her business suit's like all tattered? And
I know.
It's like they've been out in the wilderness for 5 months or whatever.
And obviously the ridiculous aspect of the skit is, of course, the fact that the teleprompter has gone down, and they have
no idea what to say and how to ad lib. And all this stuff.
Which you assume of TV personalities anyways, right?
Yeah, like the morning show people are so robotic.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the teleprompter, these people wouldn't be half as interesting as they are if they didn't have writers and teleprompters. And so that's the joke. But of course, I don't know who wrote this, but I'm going to give credit to Will. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to give credit to Will Ferrell and say that like he probably had a hand in this, to basically push it to the umpteenth degree where it just devolves into this
and the head looks a lot like David Alan Grier.
It does.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was realistic. Like,
someone made a version of his head.
Yeah,
to make it look realistic, but it just devolves into this cannibalistic like thing until it comes back on, and then of course, Nancy.
I'm gonna take an executive decision. We'll do a couple of these. I'm gonna skip a few. The next one, only because in our early 20s, we said this all the fucking time, and it was Bill Brasky. Bill Brasky being a son of a bitch.
He is a son of a bitch.
And it always, The best part about this skit was like we would do this at parties a lot of times too, and the best part, the thing that we latched onto, was not the Bill Brasky part, but the fucked up shit you would say in, like, I think it's like Will Ferrell, like it's like,
Did I ever tell you about the time I had breakfast with Brasky? My Uncle Hal molested me.
they all have like little lines like that where it like just squirted in there that these moments of truth. This is another one with Alec Baldwin leaning into it. Like
I want to say that, like, I think that it was so funny because you like the setup is obviously you have three drunk people
at a funeral.
Businessmen at a funeral. They're obviously Bill Brasky, this person they all knew is dead, and they're like regaling stories. But it's like if you've ever been around somebody who's drunk and they've like overshared, like there's this awkward moment of like this podcast is a massive oversharing like episode, right? And there's this pause where it's like you don't know what to say or what to do, so you just kind of like glaze over it. And if anyone has ever had those moments with anybody who's like severely drunk, like that's what was the funniest part because we've all been there and we've all been hammered. You know, obviously alcohol like inebriates you and you can't, you know, you're sort of inhibits your ability to stop saying fucked up things. And so there's this moment in this skit where each person involved tells something very, very detailed. One guy's like, I'm wearing a diaper.
And they stage it out like it keeps getting worse, like what they say, and they're telling these like weird. That's what's funny about the Bill Brasky thing is you could make up your own Bill Brasky joke, and that's what we would do at parties. Like the one where Will Ferrell's like, Bill Brasky said, "Let's go out for a drink." We pulled into an empty parking lot. I'll be damned if a year and a half later they didn't build a bar. We went in there, did a shot, and burned the place down.
They built a bar around us.
Yeah, built a bar, and he said, Bill Brasky said, "You got to leave a place like you found it." Like,
right, yeah.
It's just, but he would always have these elaborate jokes of like going, you know, crazy shit Bill Brasky did. This was an ongoing skit.
And this kind of parallels the Adam Sandler CD where they smell the skunk.
Yes,
right?
And it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah. That's true.
It kind of makes me think of weed.
And this one, the skit would always end with like with Bill Brasky showing back up. So this one, it was even Bill Brasky busting out of his casket and he's back, top me off,
sounding like the Shredder.
Yeah, and that's kind of
what challenge.
And that's kind of like what this skit was, right? And so. It again. There's several of these Bill Braskys. That's the only reason I wanted to talk about this. We can, unless you guys object, the airplane with Tobey Maguire. I don't really care much about.
I thought that one was fucking hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was all right. Like the best part was when again violence. Will Ferrell comes back with a bloody baseball bat.
Ice Ford, you smelly whore! Oh boy. Is it a dickweed convention back there?
We'll wind this one down with a story that I have, and it is me and Leaf. We're in our first Panama City beach trip that so this would have been 99.
1999,
hold on.
Yes.
Were you in a hotel or a motel?
We were in a trailer. A built-on trailer, like an Airbnb type situation before.
Down in Daytona Beach and in that area,
Panama
there's
City.
a lot of Panama City, excuse me. Well, in Daytona Beach too, but there's these areas that are sort of like, I don't want to call them trailer parks, but you know what I mean. Like there's these
Florida
sectioned off, the entirety of Florida.
And so we were down there, and it was where we both had our first beers, our first drinks of alcohol. We're like 19. And it was when Comedy Central used to replay SNL. And that leads me over to shit stuck in my head this week.
Tame the tiger. Oh! Oh, God! Oh, sweet bastard! Oh, my God! Oh, what kind of wood was that? What kind of wood was that?
Which made an entire fucking weekend out of us saying "sweet bastard."
Anytime anything happened.
I hurt myself.
Yeah,
I hurt myself.
Yes, dude. Sweet bastard.
So this skit is just Terry is it Gantner? Is how you pronounce
Terry
it?
Gatner is how they
and he's again like in that clip. Basically, he's got a family. He's a Taekwondo exercise guy, and he can't break the wood. And I don't know what it was during that trip. We weren't even like drunk or anything. That came on.
Not hardly.
And we laughed. I remember it was Comedy Central used to replay the same ones all the time. So it was like we were there for like 4 days. Every day we would wake up and that would be on TV. And it would always be the sweet bastard part. And we would like laugh at that shit, man. So that's why that was shit stuck in my head that week, this week. And that one is just Will Ferrell being Will Ferrell making anything funny, man. So, I know we went pretty long on this, but I guess we've cheated people with under 2-hour episodes lately, and they're conditioned to that. So, you're welcome, guys. We got 2 for this one. So get your shiz ready, guys. From Will Ferrell's run on Saturday Night Live, what is your favorite skit he was ever in? And it's a rough one, man. But I'm gonna have to go with
Hi everybody, Harry Caray here.
Chadwick, what do you got?
I think I have to go with the same.
Going with Harry Caray again?
The Harry Caray?
I really loved Harry Caray. Like I said, I grew up watching the Cubs, and that was just kind of near and dear to me. And fuck, he did so good at it too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a simple question, Doctor. Would you eat the moon if it were made of ribs?
Yeah.
I feel like that hits for a lot of like sports fans too.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not just because of sports. It's because like that particular like the way he delivers his lines is like really really funny.
Yeah.
Like I got you.
Leaf man, what do you got?
Man, I'm going to dissent.
All right.
I got to go with Angry Boss, man.
This looks like you took a crap or a dump in the printer. You are scum. I should fire you and burn down your friggin' house.
Hiring Pierce Brosnan, bro.
I wouldn't notice from you laughing for 5 minutes straight back there.
Yeah,
when we talked about
because
that one.
okay, let me tell you why. I got a detailed explanation. To me, it encapsulates everything that's funny about Will Ferrell. Because to me, Will Ferrell is a comedic genius for multiple reasons. And in this skit, it's not one that you're ever going to remember. Mm-hmm. But to me, you see all of Will Ferrell in the Angry Boss because you see him being calm, the straight man, right? Like how he deals with Pierce Brosnan. And then you see him being sort of like the over the top, like angry person where he starts to like yell at some of the people that he's dealing with, some of the employees, and then you see him be like utterly completely psychotic, and he plays stop making me laugh. He plays each and every one to the perfect degree, and the whole thing, you cannot convince me he didn't do each according to the audience. Their reaction as he was stabbing poor Parnell. Yeah, as he's stabbing him, he's doing it as long as the audience is laughing, and they keep laughing, so he keeps doing it.
And then they keep laughing harder and harder.
And they keep laughing harder, so he keeps going to a degree where it almost becomes not funny, and then it becomes funny again. Yeah. And I think that is Will Ferrell's genius, is his ability to work improv to the point that he can read an audience. He knows how long to go, when to step back, when to step forward, when to take over, when to let someone else have. And I think that makes him one of the most legendary SNL comedians of all time, since that's what we're talking about. We'll do his movies another day, as we mentioned on this podcast.
I want to just give honorable mention to Celebrity Jeopardy. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, our favorite is Norm. He did a great job as Burt Reynolds on that.
Amazing.
But that whole premise, that one is one of my all-time favorites also. So.
Sweet, man. So let's get one more in here, guys. From Saturday Night Live, what is your favorite Will Ferrell line? And I'll start. And
Uh-oh, mighty Kong has woken from his slumber.
Uh-oh.
What else is it? That we're grading on a curve.
Leaf, you got one, man?
God, you're going to have to skip me. Cause okay, I got it. My favorite line is from Will Ferrell is where he's dissing your dog, and he's in the dog's face.
So for now, let's just go with the Alpa, okay? I know it's not your first choice, but keep in mind, you're a f***ing dog.
And they don't try to change it or make him redo it. They just bleep it out because it's so perfect, dude.
Shadwick, dude, bring us home on this one.
Mine's really a collection, and we've touched on all of them. It's the outro of the skits where he changes character. So you got it in Celebrity Jeopardy where.
Good night. Get that off me!
and then like the Lovers, where the whole time he's almost like monotone, you know.
Right.
Like, and then all of a sudden.
What? I thought the water might help.
Well, it doesn't help. Get the hell off me!
Even when he's playing the devil.
Oh yeah.
And like he's messing with his car, and he's like,
son of a bitch!
The guitar was out of tune.
It was out of tune.
Is it humid in here?
Is it humid in here? Jesus, man. So
if it wasn't for that, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, sweet bastard. What kind of wood was that, man? So be sure to go check out Will Ferrell, Best Of on Peacock. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, tell your friends, hit us up on the Patreon, in the comments, guys. And with that, we'll take it over to our Dollar Big Diddle clip of the week.
Harry, listen, buddy, let's talk about the lineups for both teams, huh?
Hey, no. What about those hot dogs they serve at Yankee Stadium? Aren't they delicious?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I love them so much, I once ordered 12.
12 hot dogs?
Yeah, I only ate 2. I don't know what I was thinking.